This is the Holy Family Roman Catholic Church in Chicago, Illinois. This is a beautiful and important structure of the Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church began in the 4th century AD when Constantine attacked Rome and became emperor. He attributed his victory to his conversion to Christianity the day before. He was so grateful that he then named Christianity the state religion. This changed the course of history. Now we have an entire population that had been persecuted, and now they are part of the largest empire in the world. So where are they going to worship? Well, the largest available buildings were the Roman basilicas. These are long, narrow buildings with an apse at the end for the emperor. Well, after a period of time, they made some adjustments to these buildings, and one of them was a transept, so that the footprint of this building then is like a Christian cross. Another thing the Christians added was this, what's known as a campanile, a bell tower. These were built to be the highest thing in the town, so everyone would know where the church is. The third thing that Christians added, especially in Italy, near Rome, were the baptistries, created as separate buildings outside the entrance to the church. From the years 500 to 1500, the Dark Ages plagued Europe. When that era was over, there was a great sense of exuberance, and people wanted to move. They wanted to get out of where they were. So some of them went on pilgrimages to the most holy sites around. That included Rome, Jerusalem, and Santiago de Compostela in Spain. Others wanted to build higher than they'd ever built before. And in order to do that, two inventions needed to come about. Flying buttresses that were attached to the exterior of the building lengthwise to hold those walls up. The other one was the cross-vaulted arch in the ceiling of the buildings to prevent them from swaying lengthwise. Now, the style of Holy Family Church is actually called Victorian Gothic Revival style. So what I just described is the Gothic style, which took place mainly in France after the Dark Ages. But in the 1800s, especially in the United States, where churches were not made so large anymore, but people wanted them to look like Gothic cathedrals, the Gothic Revival style was a modification, which takes place here. So you don't have flying buttresses on both sides. What you do have is thickened piers on the exterior to show where they would have been. Holy Family Church here was built in 1857. The construction was done by immigrants. It was only in 1871 when the Chicago fire occurred and destroyed most of the downtown of Chicago. This church was only a few blocks away from where that fire started. It was a miracle this building was saved. The building started to deteriorate. It was to be put on the block for destruction and build a smaller one because there was not a very large congregation at that time. Some parishioners really didn't like that idea, so they started a fund to raise money to repair it. Because at one time there were 25,000 members of this church and they came from all over Chicago. There was a deadline on raising the money, and that was December 31st of 1990. But a week before the deadline, still $300,000 was needed. Some sent coin collections. A stockbroker in North Carolina sent $10,000, and then an attorney for Oprah Winfrey called to say he would pay what money the church couldn't pay, and Oprah Winfrey wrote a check for $50,000. The goal was completed that very last day. This was after the Second Vatican Council in Rome. And there were changes made during that council that affected the way sanctuaries were arranged. So when John Vinci, the architect, remodeled the church, he put into place some of those changes mandated by the Second Vatican Council. One of the changes was the high altar was up many stairs from the ground floor in all Roman Catholic churches, which symbolized hierarchy, the hierarchy of the Roman Catholic Church. So these were taken down to the level of the people. The pews have been modified here so that they both face the center. This allows for a better sense of community. So this structure is a real landmark. There are many things about this structure and the elements in it that have great value.